In the next series of videos, we're going to start a detailed conversation regarding optimizing your layouts in a FileMaker solution for high speed and best performance across your office network or across the internet. This series of videos is really important because if you're building a FileMaker solution or custom application where users are going to be accessing the solution from across the network or across the internet, then quick, crisp, snappy performance is going to be in everyone's best interest. Proper construction of your layouts can greatly improve the speed that these layouts download from the FileMaker server to the client, with real measurable performance improvements of 200% or more. Now, the 200% performance improvement is something that I can back up with real live data, and we're going to demonstrate that later on in these videos. But take it from me, a 200% performance improvement will greatly contribute to the happiness of your users as they interact with their FileMaker solution. Now, a little bit of history here real quick. This optimization process, which is called custom themes and shared styles, was initially introduced with FM Starting Point 4.0. Since that time, we've continued to improve it, and with the 4.6 release of FM Starting Point, we came out with a brand new improved interface. These improvements that we had previously made to FM Starting Point were carried forward into the new release of FM Starting Point because we want FM Starting Point to be as quick and as clean and as efficient as possible. Now keep in mind, as we go forward in this demonstration, some of our demonstration videos do utilize the older user interface design. But all the techniques and all the performance improvements that you see are absolutely valid and current as of the FileMaker 16 release. Now keep in mind, if you're using a fairly up-to-date version of FM Starting Point, it's still important for you to pay attention to these techniques, because as you build new layouts or you make lots of modifications to existing layouts, it's possible for you to unwind our hard work. So if you're doing a lot of work in FileMaker, you're making a lot of modifications to FM Starting Point, it might be worthwhile for you to watch these videos so you know how to maintain the optimized high speed of a FileMaker solution. So a little bit of history here. Starting with the release of FileMaker 12, FileMaker incorporated the idea of themes. A theme is something that you select for your layout which provides a general appearance. There are various themes that are built into the FileMaker platform. It's important to note that if you start a new file with the latest release of FileMaker, the brand new file will start off with the theme called Enlightened. However, if you're starting with a FileMaker solution that was converted from FileMaker 11 or previous, the theme that is automatically used is called the Classic theme. The Classic theme allows FileMaker to reproduce very closely the look and feel of a FileMaker 11 file. So the Classic theme is what we see on converted files. Brand new files will typically have the Enlightened theme unless the developer changes it. So moving forward with these FileMaker solutions, the older solutions that come from FP7 were converted to the Classic theme, and newly created files will use a modern theme by default, like the Enlightened theme. So why are these themes even important? Well, one of the critical areas that you can use to increase the performance of a FileMaker solution is to limit the number of objects that are actually on the layout. The fewer objects that are on the layout, the less information it has to be pushed down through the internet from the server to the client. So in order for your layouts to be as light and as fast as possible, you need to remove unnecessary objects and keep your design focused as tightly on the user's needs as possible. And why is this important? Well, here I have a label and a field on my layout, and right here I have a block of the XML. That's the actual code that's under the hood that describes these objects in FileMaker. So this block of text right here is the actual under the hood code that describes these objects. Now this XML is not readily accessible to the end user. In fact, as a developer, you have to have some pretty clever tricks to be able to get into this text. That being said, every object on a layout has its own XML that describes it. Every field, every block of text, every graphical line, every portal has its own block of XML. So if you eliminate unnecessary objects, all the XML from the objects you remove does not have to be sent through the network. So keep in mind that the totality of all this XML from all these objects has to be shot through the network from the server to the client. If you're on a 3G connection on an iPhone out in the middle of the desert and say that you actually have some internet out here, all these objects, all this XML has to come down to your mobile device so it can be rendered. Not good. So in summary here, we want to limit the number of objects, which then limits the blocks of XML that have to be pushed down from the server to the client. With less data coming down the pipe, the layouts will load and operate much faster. Now keep in mind, if you make a really busy layout with lots of objects on it, then all that XML not only has to come down to the network, but whatever device you're using has to be able to chew through that and display it. And of course, if you have a really high-powered desktop computer, that'll always be pretty quick. But if you have a mobile device with limited horsepower, then all that extra XML is going to put a strain on the mobile device, which in plain English results in slower loading layouts, slower performance, and with customers who are maybe not overly happy. Now keep in mind, if your FileMaker server and your users are running on a local area network, which means a network that's just within your office or your building, then you'll never see these performance issues because the network is so fast and robust, you never feel the weight of all these objects and XML. However, as the world moves towards using cloud-based services and a FileMaker cloud-based server, you're going to be pushing data across the internet. Users will feel these performance improvements that you may be making to the FileMaker solution. Or if you haven't been making them, then they may notice a very slow solution. So rule number one about making optimized layouts for your FileMaker solution is to limit the number of objects on the layout.